Hi folks, hey, Roland Martin here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. You know, I'm known as a power fisherman. And power fishing, there's nothing that's more significant about power fishing than flipping and pitching. So let's talk about flipping and pitching today. I'm going to rig you up 4 different kinds of pitching and flipping combinations that are really precious. I'm going to show you the worm. I'm going to show you the crawdad with a little bit heavier weight. I'm going to try another creature bait by Yamamoto and even the cowboy, and we're going to go all the way from half-ounce weights all the way up to 2-ounce weights. And the main thing about today's video is I'm going to show you the most important knot you'll ever tie for pitching and flipping. A knot that swivels that hook into strike positions every single time. That's really important. Okay, let's get started. Okay folks, let's take a basic flipping rod. Now this particular rod, let me put my glasses on, I'm getting me where I can't see. And this particular rod is a 7.6 or 7 foot 6 inch, and it's for all the way up to 25 pound. It's a fast action, heavy rod. So it's really a nice Pro Series rod that's just set up. Now this is not my heaviest flipping stick, and so I'm going to show you something about flipping a plastic worm. Now there's a lot of different worms on the market, but let's just take either a 5-inch Senko or a 6-inch Senko. You know, there's quite a bit of difference between the two. The weight-wise is probably, the 6-inch is probably twice as heavy as the 5-inch. Let's just take the 6-inch black worm. Let's rig it up with the right hook, and let's rig it up with the right weight. Now I'm gonna show you some stuff. I'm flipping heavy hyacinths. I'm flipping heavy hydrilla. I'm heavy patches of eelgrass all matted up. I'm fishing big old clumps of reeds. I'm fishing lily pads. So what are we going to do? We're going to use some heavy tackle. We're going to go to 65-pound test braid. 65-pound test braid. Now, this is power fishing. We're fishing really heavy cover. A 2-pound bass can wrap around the stalk of a lily pad and you can't get them out. You're going to tear them out with a 65-pound braid. Okay. Now, with the worm, I'm going to be fishing more open areas, like holes in the lily pads, like holes in the hyacinths. And so I'm going to take this worm, and I'm going to take this half-ounce weight. Let me just show you a little bit about this weight for just a second. Put it on the scale, and it registers almost a half-ounce. Okay, so let's get started. Let me tell you the first step involved. I'm going to use these big weights like I showed you, but to make the weight stay in position, I'm using a bobber stop. Now that's a bobber stop that goes on the line just above the weight. So I'm going to put it through there, thing right there, and let's pull that bobber stop up on the line. Now that I have it on the line, I'm going to pull it up the line, pull it up the line. Okay, let's get that half-ounce weight again. Let's find that half-ounce weight. Let me just take my scale and make sure I got the half-ounce. Because see, some of these things, that looks half-ounce, but that's not. That's 3/4. So let's say the half-ounce is right here, half-ounce weight. Okay, now that I got the half-ounce weight on there, I'm going to come through the sinker of the weight. Now I got the weight on there. Okay, let's take a hook. Let's look at a hook. Now there's a lot of considerations in a hook. First of all, they make a lot of different hooks. This is a Gamakatsu extra heavy cover. Now they make a heavy cover and they make an extra heavy cover. This happens to be the extra heavy cover. It's just a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker, and I'm going to show you that special knot. This is so important to have a snell knot that comes through the right way so the thing pivots. Now, okay, now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to come through the eye of the hook, like so. I'm going to turn the hook around. I'm going to make a loop right here like this. Now, watch this. This is so important. To go 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times. I'm going to pull this main line, and then I'm going to pull the tag end, and it's tied. It is completely tied. Okay, now that it's wide, I'm going to cut off this little bit of extra line. Okay, now here's the acid test. Here's the acid test. When I pull up on that hook, watch what happens. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. It's up into position. It's up into position. The hook always goes into position. It always goes up. It always goes, every single time it goes up, because what happens, that line is coming off the inside of the hook, and the actual hook hits the concave section of that weight. And when it does, every single time it comes up into strike position. The hook is never down. It's always straight up. You get 90 or 95% more fish. You get them all. You just don't miss fish. You really just don't miss fish with the snell knot situation and a concave weight on the sinker. Okay, let's just pull it all down. Let's take the bobber stop and let's put it in a position. Okay, right here. Boom. Now, let's just take the 6-inch. You could take the 5-inch, but let's take the 6-inch Senko. Come through the head of it. Pull it up into position. Turn the hook. Now you don't hardly have to go through the whole thing. Fully rigged plastic worm with the flipping weight, the half-ounce flipping weight for the open holes in the hyacinths, the open holes in the lily pads, pitching into the reeds that stick up. Okay, this isn't the thickest, most overhead cover, but it's perfect for a worm, and it's perfect for a big, heavy-duty 65-pound test line. Okay, let's take the second combination that I really like. Let's talk about a 3/4 of an ounce weight. Let's just weigh this just real quick and just make sure it's 3/4 of an ounce. And it's now what the 3/4 of an ounce is for. This is 0.7. You notice it's 0.7. Is for the kind of light lettuce and maybe some eelgrass. It's maybe kind of canopied over the top, or maybe some light hydrilla. It's not the real heavy weight now, but see, I'm trying to go as light as I can to get through the cover, but go as light as I can. I don't want to have to go as real heavy in real light cover. So let's go to the 3/4 ounce. Okay, now to make that work, again, I go to my bobber stop, put my glasses on. I find a hole in the bobber stop. Okay, now going through the 3/4 ounce weight, 3/4 ounce weight. I'm going to go through that hook tie one more time to really show you how effective it is. Okay, now let's go to my second hook. Again, it's a EW. No, this is a Superline heavy cover worm hook. Again, okay, to do the snell knot that canopies up, where the point comes up every single time. You come in the front side of the hook with my line. I turn it around. I'm going to hold it in the down position. I'm going to make a loop right here. Again, that loop. Now I take 2 fingers, these 2 fingers here, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's enough. Pull my main line down, pull my tag end, take my knife. Okay. Make sure that's nice and tight. Okay. Now, I got another 4/0 super heavy cover worm hook by Gamakatsu. I'm going to take a Psycho Dad. This is a 3/4 of an ounce weight, and I'm going to come through the head of the worm just a little ways, about 3/8 of an inch. Turn the whole system around. Come through there. Turn it around. Put the hook in just a little ways. Okay. You don't have to go all the way through, because remember, you're dealing with heavy cover, heavy line, or heavy rod, so you don't have to go all the way through with the worm hook. Okay, pull that bobber stop down. You notice? See if you need the bobber stop. Without the bobber stop, the weight would slide down the line, and the lure would be hung up here in the bushes and heavy vegetation, and the line just wouldn't work. Just wouldn't work. Okay, folks, now let's talk about the really thick, heavy cover. Let's talk about matted up, dead lily pads and dead sticks and dead everything. You're going to have some really heavy weights. You're going to have maybe an 1.25 ounce weight. Hey, you might need an 1.5 ounce weight. And I'm going to even show you how to rig up properly a 2 ounce weight. 2 ounces of the heavy hyacinths. When the wind's packing them in there, you got to find little holes and you got to jiggle the 2 ounce through there. Now remember, you want to use as light a weight as you can for the cover that you have, but when the wind's blowing and you have matted up hyacinths all packed in, sometimes you have to go to a 2 ounce weight. Let me give you a little clue about a 2 ounce weight. When you rig up a 2 ounce weight, those hyacinth roots hang down about a foot, foot and a half. And then underneath that's open water. Underneath all these floating areas of grass and stuff like I'm talking about is open water. And there might be 3 or 4 feet of open water. The bass in general, most of the time, are just at the bottom of those roots. In other words, as the weight finally penetrates, it goes down to the bottom of the roots and hits the first part of this open water. That's where the fish are, and that's where you get the strike. So that's why you don't want to have a weight that just goes flying through there as fast as possible. These 2 ounce weights, a lot of times you'll throw it out there and you kind of jiggle around on top of it, and they can hear it up there, and they know it's there. And so it finally kind of goes through, and the second it breaks through, I kind of slow it down. Boom! They grab it right just underneath the bottom of the roots. Okay, let's take that heavy 2 ounce weight, and let me show you what I'm going to do with that. Okay, let me just show you one of the really heavy setups I have here. Now this isn't the most expensive favorite rod. In fact, this is Select Series. It's probably the cheapest one they got, but it's got a very heavy action. It also has a nice long handle and I also have the cushion on all these rods. I have the cushion that goes in my side because it gives me more power to winch them out of that heavy stuff. Okay, I'm using a 6.8 to 1 favorite reel. Again, 65-pound braid. Come through with my weight and my bobber stop. Okay, take my 2 ounce weight. What a heavy weight. Come right through the front. By the way, these tungsten weights have a little insert that kind of keeps it from chaffing the line. That's really a big deal. Let's take a nice 4/0 hook. Okay, let's come through the front side of the hook now. You come through the front side of the hook like this, okay? Now you turn the hook all the way around, make a nice loop. Make a nice loop again. This is so important to do this. Make a nice loop. Now that I have it in position, I take 2 fingers, these 2 fingers here, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's enough. Pull my main line down, pull my tag end, take my knife. Okay, the proof of the pudding. Here's the proof of the pudding. I said if I tied it right, and the concave bottom of this big weight will make that hook come up into the up position every time. Pull it up. Look at it come up. It came up. It came up. Front part, 100% of the time. 100% of the time, that hook will be up. 100% of the time. Not 99. Every single time it goes up, it's like that. It makes your hook-up ratio so much better. When you have that hook point coming up into the top of the mouth, it gets all the strikes. I mean, you just don't miss a strike. You might miss a strike because you might not pull hard enough. You might miss a fish because you don't really put enough pressure. Because if that big 6 or 8 pound bass, and that's what I'm looking for the bigger fish on these heavy cover. When that big old fish grabs it, you got to slam the hook into some pretty solid structure of his mouth. He's holding on tight. You got to pull hard, and you got to make it all the hook set big. So you can't just hook set a little bit. You got to hook set a whole lot. Now here's one other thing that you have to do. Because of this 2 ounce weight, it's so much weight that the fish is going to drop it the second he feels the weight. So when I take like this big cowboy, this is a nice big creature bait by Yamamoto. It's got a nice hard plastic in the front. I'm going to come in the front of it like this. I may or may not super glue it. I could super glue it. I come into the body of it, okay? Now, I got it all ready to go. And I have my bobber stop in position. Now here's the whole big key to this. The second that weight falls down through the canopy of heavy cover, I mean, I'm pitching and flipping, and I'm pitching it out there, and I let it down. I get it in position. I got the rod here. The second you see the line jump, the second you feel a little nibble of any sort, man, you bust them hard. And that's what you need a heavy rod for. And in fact, these rods are so heavy that I can have the rod at a little bit of an angle, even up a little bit. And the rods are so heavy, I can still set the hook because it's such a big, heavy rod right in here. A lot of rods, a lighter rod, you'd have to go way down all the way to them. In doing that, you don't want to do like a worm and give them 2 and 3 seconds. You don't want to do that. You got to hit him way, way, way faster than that. The second he nibbles, you got to get on him. So what you do when you're flipping and pitching, you get your rod in position all the time. And you remember, you're not jigging it a whole lot. You're just getting through that heavy canopy. The second you see the line jump, the second you feel that little nibble, hey, you set the hook and you start reeling. You tighten the drag up really well. And that's the one thing about these favorite rods and favorite reels. The reel itself has a superb drag. Really, really stout, heavy drag. And for 65-pound line, if you have the rod anchored right and you reeling hard, those big 6 and 8 and 10-pound fish, you got them. I mean, you can get them. I mean, you can really get them out of there. And remember now, sometimes what you have, and it's really, really a difficult situation, sometimes you have hyacinths and hydrilla and dead up, matted up stuff in, say, a big patch of reeds. Now, it's all together. It's all in one big thing. And you'll flip in there, and maybe you'll see it shake or whatever, but the big old giant bass will bite. You got to pull them through the reeds, through all that dead stuff, and up. I mean, it's just really, really a big-time deal. That's why power fishing will catch those fish. Anyway, I hope it's pitching and flipping. I showed you how to tie the hook. I explained the different weight situations. I talked about the different types of cover that you need to concentrate on. Hey folks, you can get out. This is the time of year. This is the fall and a little bit cooler weather. It works the whole year for that matter. But right now, time to catch a big one. We'll see you out on the water. Hey, thanks for watching.